What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tackle Talk Tuesday. Today I'm going to talk about a lure I've been using lately. It's called the Knockin Shrimp. If you follow me online, you've probably heard me talk about it, probably seen some fish that it's caught. This is a lure by Knockin Tail Lures. I found these online, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. Reached out to the company, and you know, they sent me a few sample packs to try out, and let me tell you, these things absolutely catch fish. I used it in South Carolina. It's what I caught almost all my trout on. I don't think that I've used these lures yet and got skunked with them. They just flat out catch fish. This is the one I've been using. This one I was using in South Carolina, and they got a built-in rattle in the belly, so whenever you're jigging it, it rattles. Shrimp tick whenever their tails hit their body. It makes a ticking sound, so a natural rattle in a shrimp body is very, very good. And as you can see, the tail is has a lot of action, and this particular color has black tips on the tail. And let me tell you, looking in the water, you see those black tips, and it looks just like a freaking shrimp. That's you know, if you go look at a shrimp in a bait tank or in your live well or whatever, you see that black tip on the tail. Not all the colors do, but this particular color has that, and I really like that. But these things are pretty easy to work. They come in an 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. I personally prefer the 1/8 ounce because it has a slower rate of fall once it hits the water. So I want it to fall slowly. A shrimp, whenever a shrimp's in the water, it doesn't just go straight to the bottom. It slowly falls through the water table, and then this is a confident shrimp, is what we'd call this, because it's going forward. So it just kind of go forward. A tail hook shrimp flee tail first. If they're fleeing, they're going tail first. So they're getting away from you tail first. If they're confident, they're swimming at you, and that's kind of what you're imitating with these shrimp, is a confident shrimp, and it's just kind of in the water table, just kind of swimming along. So what I like to do is I keep my rod tip vertical and I jig it vertical. Sometimes if I'm, you know, using twitch baits or whatever, I like my rod tip pointed at the water, and because that keeps the bait down. But I want this bait to come up to the surface whenever I jig it, so I keep my rod tip vertical, and that way whenever I jig it, it comes up to the surface, and then I can let it fall back down again. Come up to the surface, fall back down again. So I'll give it like 2 twitches and just let it fall. 2 twitches, let it fall, and that seems to be a pretty good you know, cadence for this lure. You can bounce it on the bottom, walk it along the bottom, but just give it a couple jigs. But like I said, keep the rod tip up so it comes up. You don't want it to come, I mean, you can still, if you do it sideways, it's not going to not work, but you'll get better action with the rod tip up. So these things are pretty deadly. I've really been catching a lot of fish on them, and been using them in tournaments, and they've helped me secure some wins. So you know, highly recommend this Knockin Shrimp if you haven't tried one. You know, people will be like, oh, that's the same as a voodoo shrimp. Well, it's not. One, these are a little bit tougher. You can catch a lot of fish before it breaks apart on you, like the voodoo shrimp will, you know, a few fish on those and the tail breaks off or whatever. And these here, I've caught a lot of fish on one bait. And the voodoo shrimp, not all of them have a rattle. I think they do have a rattling version, but every one of these rattles. So it's just a really good bait. So if you haven't had a chance to try one of these, you can pick them up at St. Augustine Paddle Sports or at knockintaillures.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out there.